About 2 years ago, I was struggling. I was skinny, depressed, and socially anxious. And I was struggling from abuse from, my family, a lot of family problems I used to have. And I stumbled upon this thing called self-improvement. And I actually found it out by a guy called Hamza. And listening to his story and actually watching his videos, we were very similar. We both grew up in like a brown household. We both grew up with abusive fathers. I saw his progress and he preached self-improvement. So I was like, why not? It sounds like a good idea. So, I started doing the small things. I meditated, I gratitude journal. Eventually I started in martial art, boxing, and I started my favorite martial art, and that's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's when I started to make like real progress. I started to compete, I made friends, I just fell in love with the sport. And that was through Hamza recommending to start martial art. So I think Hamza tremendously helped me with my mental health. I hope to do the same thing for some of you who are watching now. One of the things that Hamza preaches quite a lot in his videos is meditating. And he says, start meditating for about 3 minutes, and then when you lose focus, put the focus back on your breath. And that's all good. Like, I preach meditating. I think everybody should meditate. Now, being on self-improvement for about 2 years now, I found, like, subconsciously and somewhat autistically, found this practice that really helped me when I was in the most difficult times of my life. Now, meditating is good. I'm not saying meditating is bad, but the thing with meditating is you have to be very consistent at it to see the results. So you won't just meditate for 5 minutes and then instantly feel present and feel like the past 10 years of you gaming and being a gooner has just gone. No, you're gonna have to do that consistently. But with this one practice I found out, and I've just looked back on it now, and I've always done this practice when I'm at my most cooked times, like the times where I'm like really struggling, and I felt like meditating wouldn't really make me feel at ease. And also, I don't think any YouTuber has actually mentioned this practice, because the practice is like, it's quite detailed and it's quite, like I said, a bit autistic. It's not something you have to do every day. It's something which I recommend to do it about twice a week or once a week. It instantly makes me feel alive. It instantly makes me feel present. I'm just going to show you what it is. Let's go. Alright, as you can have guessed, the practice that I do is going to the park. But you may be thinking, oh, everybody says go to the park. That's just something that everybody says and every self-improvement YouTuber says. But I don't just go to the park. I go to the park in a very specific, very detailed way I do it. Just a disclaimer, you don't have to do it in my way. You can go do it yourself and find things that you like and find things that help you. But the things that I do is I go to the park when it's like the sun has set. And right now in the UK, it's like 9 o'clock in the afternoon. And when the sun has set, I feel like the park just feels more spiritually alive. It's hard to explain. I feel more connected and I feel more alive spiritually. I feel like the energy in the park is different at like when the sun has set. Don't get me wrong, going to the park when it's like nice and hot and sunny is amazing, and I like to do that as well. But going at a time like this, when it's like the sun has set, everybody's going home, there's not many people walking about, like it's just me in this park right now. I feel lonely, but at the same time I feel so alive. Like taking a breath and breathing out, I feel like I'm inhaling all that spiritual energy and I'm exhaling it out. I know I might sound a bit cringy, but once you come to the park at this time, you'll know what I'm trying to explain. Another thing that I do is I don't just sit on the bench and walk on the footpath like a normal human being. I sit on the grass, obviously when it's not wet, but I sit on the grass and I actually lie on the grass on the floor, like on my back. I like to feel the earth, and even better if I can take my shoes off and go on my socks, because when you feel the earth, you feel like you're connected to the ground. You feel more connected with nature. It's a very like a therapeutic feeling, because we're always like sat down on like hard floors and like on like man-made floors. But when you sit on the grass and you actually feel the grass, and you like even like just play with the weed a little bit, the weeds and like the grass, I can even smell the grass. Another thing which I love about going at this time is whenever I'm struggling or dealing with a hard time, Whenever I come here, life doesn't feel real. I feel like time stops, life stops, and I can really just have a mental refresher. Every time I leave the park, guaranteed, I always feel better. There's not been a single time that I've come to the park and left and not felt better, or I felt worse. I've always felt better. It has a 100% success rate. Like, I remember about 3-4 months ago, I lost a lot of money. I got telephone scammed. My initial thoughts was, oh, I'm so unlucky. Why me? Why did this happen to me? Why did it not happen to somebody else? You know, I'm going through such hardship times and I'm the most unluckiest person in the world. But then I came to the park at this time and I sat on the grass, I laid on the floor, I breathed in the fresh air, and then I thought to myself, I'm actually lucky. I'm able to go outside, I'm able to work for a living, I'm able to breathe the fresh air, I'm able to have a roof over my head and have clean water to drink and have food to eat. And then like a deeper thought came into my mind. You look at the news, look at the people in Palestine, look how much they are suffering. What you're going through is absolutely nothing compared to them. And then I just felt like a surge of happiness, a surge of gratitude, and I felt so grateful for what I have. I would have never ever changed the way I thought by staying in my house in the 4 walls of my home. If I had stayed in my house, I would still be complaining and bitching today. But I came out here and I rationalized, and one way I rationalize and try and make the best decisions in life is, it's going to sound a bit weird and again a bit autistic, but like I'm doing right now, but without the camera, I talk to myself out loud. I try and rationalize. Let's say I've got a big decision. Let's say I've got a big decision, or something big is going to happen, or something bad's happening. I rationalize the outcomes. I rationalize what I'm going to do has an effect on the outcomes. I might sound weird, I might be weird, but I think it's a great practice. It's like you're having therapy with yourself. It's a bit weird, but it's really like helped me see a clearer picture of what's going on and have a clearer understanding of what I'm going to do. Because a lot of the times you have loads of thoughts in your brain, and a lot of the times they get stuck there. Like right now, sitting here, this park has like a ambient feeling. That's what this practice is called, in my opinion. Being in ambience is what the practice is called. Coming to a place like a park, or like even a car park, and being in ambience, being in a place where there's not many people about, and a place where you can talk to yourself, and a place where you can sit down and have a clear-headed mind and have clear thoughts. In recent years, there's been a notion that everybody needs to go to therapy, everybody needs to go to a therapist. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've all seen them ads, them BetterHelp ads. Everybody needs therapy and therapy is amazing. Come on. Do I really need to explain why that's a scam? Like, let's be honest, it's you versus you. No one, I'm gonna say this politely, no one gives a fuck about you. No one gives a fuck about your problems. Nobody wants to hear your problems. Nobody wants to be around a person that's always complaining about their problems. Well, I certainly don't. When I hear someone complaining about their problems, I'm like, man, shut the fuck up, I don't care. That's the same with everybody else. Nobody cares. And that's the same with therapists. They don't give a fuck. And you know, one way they will give a fuck? If you pay them, yeah, it costs money to talk to a therapist. It's not free. Like, I don't get the logic. Like, why would you pay someone just so they can listen to you and so you can talk to them and let your feelings out? Why would you do that? Especially if you're a man. If you're a man, women is a bit different, but if you're a man and you think that you need therapy and you need to be emotional, fucking hell, you need to get your head out your ass, because that is complete utter bullshit. We've all been told this notion that we need to be more emotional and we need to let our feelings out. That's one way that these fucking higher ups are destroying us. How these higher ups are trying to make men weak these days by telling everybody that you need to be more emotional, you need to let your feelings dictate what you want to do in life. And I am a victim of this as well. like a lot of my past bad decisions were decisions that I made based on my emotions. For example, I had a job, right? A nice high-paying job, not high-paying job, minimum wage job, yeah. And I left the job. I just quit because I didn't like it, because my emotion told me I didn't like it. Making that bad decision there, I then went on to another job which is now paying me £5 per hour, which is doing Uber Eats delivery on my bike. £5 per hour. So I went from £12 per hour to £5 per hour. So I made this crazy bad decision just based on my emotions, because I felt like I didn't like it, so it's not worth my time. Utter bullshit. And only now I've realized how I look back at all my bad decisions in life, and nearly every single one of them were based because of my emotions. My emotions dictated what I want to do, not my brain. And that's the same with even being disciplined. That's what discipline is. Discipline is doing it even though you don't like it anyway. Doing things based on your emotions will never get you anywhere, because you're not always going to feel like you want to do it. That's the same with the gym, that's the same with finance, that's the same with work, that's the same with everything in life. But yeah, that was a quick ramble, but I think therapy is a complete utter scam. Like, what do therapists and like psychotherapists, what do they even do? Like, what do they actually do? What do they say? There, it will be okay. Or what do they say, like, life's like a dark tunnel. You may not see the light at the end of the tunnel, but if you just keep moving, then you'll see a better place. Like, is that all they do? They just listen to you, and then they're just like, yep, 1 hour's up, next paycheck. Come on, that's £30. That's why this practice, being an ambience, is so beneficial for men, because it is you versus you. So whatever problem you're facing, you got to find it within. What's going wrong? How can you change it? How can you change your perspective on things? And there's a quote by some philosopher, I'm pretty sure it was Marcus Aurelius, but it goes along the lines of, if you want to escape the things that harass you, it's not that you need to be in a different place, but to be a different person. Now, I'm not saying you should keep all of your emotions inside, let it bottle up, and then commit the S word. What I'm saying is, you don't need to tell everybody about your problems. It's like, look at me guys, I'm a victim, look at me, I'm a victim. There was like actually an example of this. There was this woman in a call center that I used to work in, and this woman was in a group chat, in our work group chat, and every text message, like, she would be complaining about this and my mental health, and this is going wrong, and I'm struggling with this. And you know, secretly, my colleagues I used to work with didn't even like her. Yeah, didn't even like her. Other women didn't even like her, because everything that came out of her mouth was just negative. And people don't want to be around negative people. That's right. We don't want to be around people that's always complaining. I've already said that, but it's true. We don't. So my advice is to do this practice, be in ambience. But it will be very beneficial as a man to have almost like a brotherly figure. It could be your actual brother, but have like a brotherly figure, like your ride or die. I have that. I'm very grateful to have it, where you have full trust in this man. It could even be a woman, but you have full trust in this man, and this man has full trust in you. Only like one person or two person that you can really like lay your heart out and tell them, like, this is happening, like you can actually be emotional with, like your brother, and like to almost know if this is the right person to talk to things about. There's like this scenario, it's a bit dark, and I've actually heard this from a guy called Hamza, the same guy. It's something along the lines of, if you were in World War II and you were escaping from the Nazis, would this man blow his cover to save you, knowing that he could also get killed? If the answer is yes, then he's probably the right person to talk to. If the answer is no, then maybe not. And some of you might say that I don't have that, unfortunately, and I feel for you guys. I think having someone to talk to that's your brother and your ride or die is such a blessing in life. Maybe find the next person, maybe your mom or your dad, or someone that's been there from day one. But this is why this ambience practice is good. If you don't have that someone in your life that's your ride or die, this is the practice I'm trying to preach to you. We don't need another person. You don't need to be paying therapy. You don't need to be wasting your time with a scammer who's just listening to you and then just waiting for the next paycheck. Let's be honest, it's a waste of your time. This practice, you don't need anyone. You just go out there and you let your thoughts be your thoughts. Yeah, so I'm not saying bottle up your emotions inside. That's not what I'm trying to say. I just don't like the fact that some people are so emotional that they tell everybody about their problems. It just creates a bad atmosphere. Like, now you're known as the guy who always complains, and now you're known as the guy who's depressed all the time. And when you actually get out of that, depression or rut that you're in, it's like hard to change the perception of yourself from other people's minds, because they just know you as the depressed guy. Let's just recap on the steps that I talked about previously. And I know I muddled it up a bit, so you might not know the steps properly. But steps are, it has to be in an ambient environment. So particularly when the sun has set, because I feel like when the sun has set, it's a different feeling, it's a different spiritual energy. Like I said before, when the sun has set, it doesn't have to be a park, but if it's a park, it's probably best out of the places you can go. Probably a park, or like a car park, or like a street, like even just having a walk on your area that you live in is also good. Number 3, try not to be like a normal human being. If you're at the park, if it's dry, lie on the ground, play with the grass, climb a tree, basically like how we were kids. When we were kids, we used to play with the grass, we used to climb trees. That's just how it is. So be like how you're supposed to act like. Number 4, you don't have to do this, but to really capture those thoughts that you get in the park or the ambient place, I sometimes bring a notebook with me so I can write down each idea that I get and each aspiration I get, because the ideas that I get when I'm in the park is just so much better. And when I write it down, I can actually look back on it and actually remember what I actually want to do. And number 5 is have a play around with it. Do things that make you feel comfortable. Do things that make you feel more present. If it makes you feel more present, I don't know, doing calisthenics, for example, do it. I don't personally do it, but if it makes, some people do calisthenics. I've seen some people do grappling if they have another person with them, or on the park, wherever it is really. You can even have a fucking wank in the park if it makes you feel. No, I'm not saying I'm a wank, but you know what I mean, right? So whatever, this is my personal things that helped me. Everybody's different. You have your own things that you like to do, so try them out, play with it, and see what makes you feel comfortable and relaxed. Okay, that should conclude the end of this video. I know this video might be a bit long, but I think the message is worth it. I hope this video gave some value to your life, and I really do hope you just try out this practice once. You might do it without even knowing. And like always, thank you for watching. Bye.